So I'm like, let's talk about this. She's like, Nick, I've told you before, I never want to get married. I was like, we don't have to get married. We can be one of those couples that's just like together. And everyone's like, what's their fucking deal? Do they not want insurance? Like,
I was married for a long time, and I was dating somebody for a while. Now I'm single. Here's the crazy thing. You don't even realize all the amazing little things a woman does for you till you don't have one. You don't even realize it. Women do so many things that you don't even realize. Like the other night, I'm trying to get some sleep. Trying to sleep, couldn't sleep. Trying to sleep, couldn't sleep. And suddenly it dawned on me. I was like, this pillowcase is filthy. Are we supposed to change these?
And my husband, he's white. He's socks and sandals white. So we'll be walking around Gary, Indiana, holding hands. Predominantly black city, everybody just double taking, pointing at us. I asked him, I said, baby, what do you think these people are thinking when they stare at us so hard? And my husband is so funny. He says, baby, I don't care what they're thinking, as long as they're thinking, he must have a big dick. He said, that's all that matters. But whenever we walk out that door, we always have to put on that emotional armor just to be prepared for what may come our way. Usually it's funny, though. I'll never forget my husband. I was at his football game. He's a high school history teacher. He also coaches football. And I went to the game, and the game was over. I'm standing on the side waiting for him. My husband was talking to a student, and there were 4 white coaches standing not too far from me, and they were all staring at me, and I was staring at them. Finally, I heard one of them say, I think that's one of the players' moms. They start to walk over to introduce themselves. My husband runs over at the same time. Hey guys, that's my wife, Tracy. All 4 coaches at the same time. Oh! Like a racial siren went off or some shit. I thought the purge was about to begin. I didn't know what the hell. But my people are guilty too, though, right? I took them down to Opelika, Florida, where I grew up, to meet some of my friends. They are all black. They hadn't met my husband. I said, this is my husband, all of them. Oh. Y'all together. Okay, ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay.
It doesn't matter how extreme a married person's story is, they tell it as if you should do it too. They'll look you dead in the eye. They'll be like, I met Robert in 7th grade. Have you tried 7th grade? And you're not allowed to disagree with them. It's too exhausting. So you're like, you're right. I got to start trying 7th grade. I got to enroll in the middle school. I got to go to one of those Cumin and do after-school activities. Married men don't try to help you at all. They don't care. The only thing married men talk to you about when you're single is how they would have crushed it on Tinder. That's the only thing they say. Oh, man, if I was single. Oh. It's like, I knew you then. Married women are weird. They're condescending. Women seem to be in this competition that I don't even believe in. They're like married winning, single losing. That seems to be the case. So when all of my friends who are my age get married, they act like they have no memory of being single whatsoever. Like they're not allowed to admit they remember it because it might be that it was a little bit fun. They'll be like, I don't even remember. Oh, what was it, 2012? Oh, was the internet around back then? I think I just played Snake on my phone all day. Where am I? I'm so old.
I recently got married. I got married, you guys. Thank you. I need the claps. It's a very heavy ring. It's very heavy. It was like a reverse Lord of the Rings situation where I got a ring and then I lost half of my powers, which is a very different Lord of the Rings movie. Like, what? Listening compromise? You take the ring, Sam. Like, the movie's done in 8 minutes. It's not a 90-hour saga. But we just celebrated our 1-year wedding anniversary, so it's 1 year down, forever to go, which is terrifying to say. But you know what's great is now it's just kind of liberating, because I don't give a fuck about any of my single friends. I don't care about any of you guys, and it feels great. Because you guys are at home, just like swiping for love and complaining. Like, how do you find people? Dimples off with his head, like a goddamn emperor. It's like brunettes, not for me. I'm like, dude, you work at Subway. You don't deserve this level of choice.
Getting married is not that much fun. Yeah. You're not allowed to say that, especially if you're a woman, God forbid, over 30. Like, well, you're just lucky that the Lord sent you someone to put up with your shit. And kissing your dog on the mouth. Stop taking videos. There is a world where you can admit that something is difficult, but also love the byproduct of it. I love my husband, but the wedding part is exhausting. It is a physical and mental and financial just gauntlet. Even down to the last minute. The wedding itself, the whole year is exhausting planning, and it's fun, you love your mom, but it's a whole thing. But even just the day of, let's talk about the day of. What happened on the day of your wedding, girls, right? You had to prepare for it. Like, you woke up early, just want to greet the sun. Got up at like 6, like when your dad gets up. Right, what, you meditated? I just want to be centered, right? You worked out like it matters day of. It doesn't. It doesn't. You're not gonna lose any weight at the buzzer. It's not gonna, it's never gonna happen. What did you do? You did your little workout, and then you got your makeup done, and your nails, and a massage, and a colonic, and a hyperbaric chamber, and a hyperbolic chamber. Amazing. And you got a situation room, and a silence cone, and a shame corner, and a Reiki healing, and you went ghost hunting. You did all this stuff. What did your husband do on your wedding day? I'll tell you. He woke up like whenever. Went out to eat with his buddies, something tasty, doesn't matter if I'm fat, because I'm a funny guy. Went. Who cares if it's bloated, right? Then he went and got a haircut on the day of the wedding. Are you kidding me?
I married my dad, is who I married. My dad, who I thought air conditioning cost $100,000 a day to run it. When we would be on car rides, I thought if you turned it on, your car exploded. Like just gas, you were out. We're out immediately. Did someone turn the air conditioner on? My wife's always around too, I feel. Just always like near, you know, especially about home. It's like I married a cat that I'm like, you just always on me. If I do if I go to the bathroom, she's like, I'm gonna paint the bathroom door while you're in there. I'm like, you couldn't do it later? No, I had all the time to do it. I thought I'd wait till you went in, and that's when I was gonna start. If I eat something she doesn't approve of, she just pops up, man. I mean, I'll try to sneak it. I could eat an Oreo cookie in the attic at 3 a.m., and I would bet my life a light would cut on, and she'd be like, what are you doing up here? And if I questioned it, it was like, what are you doing up here? She's like, I'm always up here. This is when I do my attic stuff. She put Life 360 on my phone. That's so they can track you even when they're not near you. You might not even know you have it on your phone. It's worse than what the government's doing. I would rather the government track me than her. She just calls me, why are you at Krispy Kreme donuts? I'm like, look, I'm not gonna live like this, all right? If I want donuts, I'm not gonna lock my phone in a gym locker and go pay cash for donuts. I've done it, but I'm not gonna do it every time.
This is the second marriage, so I feel like this one's gonna stick. I recommend, if you're in your first marriage, just get that one out of the way. You're not even in your final form yet. After my first marriage, I was a little bit worried that I'd be damaged goods and people wouldn't want me, but it was kind of the opposite, you know? I knew more about myself. I knew what I liked, what I didn't like. I know how good my marriage is now because I could base it off of how shitty my first marriage was. And I'm not one of those comics that likes to talk shit about their ex. It's just that we were married too young. We didn't really trust each other, didn't respect each other. She kept trying, I was a little bit bigger then, and she kept trying to dress me in clothes with like giant dogs on them all the time. Or just a lot of bright floral patterns and khaki shorts. Just trying to make me look like a black Gabriel Iglesias. Basically just keeping me real unfuckable. But my wife now, she wants me to be cute. Before I leave the house, she checks the hair, she makes sure I'm suited and booted. She wants people to want to fuck me. That's a good marriage. Thank you. I didn't know a marriage could be fun like that. I thought it had to be a constant fight, constant struggle. I didn't know marriage could just be hanging out, laughing together, watching Seinfeld all day, until you get your dick sucked. When you boil marriage down to that one sentence, I mean, oh my God, it is beautiful. Especially if you understand how often I've watched Seinfeld all day without getting my dick sucked. But no longer. Now I get excited as soon as I hear the theme song.
I will say the one thing I did right is that I've been married to the same dude for 17 years. That's right. 17 years. I married a psychopath. Here's how you know you're with a psychopath, okay? In the middle of winter, he sleeps with a fan blowing on him. I'm hot! I'm hot! Yeah, because you're a psycho, and psychos have a higher core body temperature that allows them to stand outside naked in the freezing rain with a meat cleaver. I told our adorable cleaning lady about it, and she goes, well, maybe it's because he's so heady. I'm like, how do you know, bitch? Then I remembered she cleans our drains. Poor woman, I know. But here's how you know you're with a psycho, okay? Look at their Netflix queue. Look at what Netflix is suggesting they watch next, because that's somebody's total interest. That's it. Apparently, my husband only has 2 areas of interest. It's either serial killers or World War II. And he likes to watch his shows as I'm drifting off to sleep at night. So I get to hear either, and the murderer only killed blonde women, mothers of 2. Or, machen Sie Achtung, Juden, Achtung, Juden,
Are there married folks out there tonight? Married folks. I love it. Okay, this is for you guys. You tell me I'm wrong, but I know I'm right. You say no fucking way, but I insist that I'm right. So I pull out my phone and I look it up. I right away see I was wrong, but I pretend I can't find the answer. So I fake like I'm still looking, and you say, so who's right? I say my phone sucks and blame AT&T reception. Then you start to look it up, so I just grab your phone and drop it into a glass of iced tea.
I have a friend that's thinking about getting married. He's so dumb the way he's talking. He's a moron. He's been with the girl for 5 years, and these things he talks about. She's nice, her family's pretty cool, she's smart, but I don't know if she's hot enough. I don't know. Yeah, I'm talking about getting married. Is she hot enough? Are you high? Hot enough? You're talking about getting married for the rest of your life. You don't care about hot. You don't marry hot. You marry strong. You don't want a supermodel. You want someone who can pick up the other end of the couch. Without taking the cigarette out of her mouth. That's who you marry. No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Look, if you're married and you're in here tonight, this is a great night for you. You're having a great time. There's no pressure on you at all. You're married. You don't even care if your partner's having fun right now. That's not why you're here. Let's let someone else talk for an hour.
So much relationships is luck. That's the thing nobody talks about. It's luck. Like, okay, so this is the thing I looked up. So there's a 1 in 8 chance that you will marry somebody you're dating. And there's a 50-50 chance that the marriage will work. So in essence, there is a 6% chance that you'll be in an everlasting, loving relationship with someone you're dating, even if they're great and you're great. 6%. That's luck. And I know I need to pause the show right now and let all the guys that are here on dates look at your lady and let her know that you guys are the exception. You're going all the way, I get it. But 6%, it's luck, right? Even if I'm wrong, it's 9, but it's 6. It's like we all judge each other for our failures at relationships. We judge ourselves. We should have empathy. We're all basically just fans at an NBA game taking a half-court shot. When those fans miss the shot, everyone goes, oh, they don't go, fuck you! Think about why you missed that shot. Start with your relationship with your mother and go forward from there.